Today I'm going to talk about why most online coaches in 2025 are going to fail. I deal with so many online coaches, personal trainers, wanting to improve their business. The people who are they're the kinds of people who are not going to do well in online coaching. There's still time for you now to work on these things that need to be worked on, because I promise you, if you can nail those things, you'll crush it. Today's episode is pretty grim. Today I'm going to talk about why most online coaches in 2025 are going to fail. But the good news is we're going to talk about how to avoid it. Let's get straight into it. So the reason why I hit such a clickbaity title is because I deal with so many online coaches. I deal with so many personal trainers, coaches wanting to get into fitness, wanting to improve their business, and a lot of them just have the wrong idea. Like, they're making the same mistakes, they're doing the same stuff, and it's kind of sad, but I'm like, it's probably not going to work really well for you if you're going to continue doing what you're doing. So on the flip side, I help a lot of people, and that's what I do pretty much every single day. Is we talk about how to improve businesses for personal trainers and online coaches. Subtle plug, if you want more of that, link below. And I see the same mistakes getting made, basically. So I kind of wanted to have a pretty casual chat about just little things that you guys can do, whether you're wanting to start coaching or you're already coaching or you're a personal trainer wanting to transition over. Like, these things, they're pretty easy to fix. And some of them are like mental barriers, and some of them are just literally things that you just didn't know. So I have like no real list of what I'm going to discuss today, because I'm trying to get in the habit of podcasting and keeping it pretty chilled and letting my brain just ramble. So this could either be really good or really shit. Just a forewarning, but let me know, listen, I guess, either in the comments or stories or anything like that would be great. But the biggest one I find is why people will fail is that they're lazy. So this is not really what people want to hear. And I think if you're doing any business, for that matter, it doesn't even have to be coaching, just any single business, you can't be lazy. And a lot of coaches I speak to, when they say, I can't get leads, and then it's like, oh, okay, what are you doing to get leads? And they're like, oh, I'm posting X amount on social media. Okay, how many people are you DMing about their journey and trying to start a conversation to turn that into a lead? And they're like, oh yeah, not many. And I'm like, okay, well, hang on, don't just gloss over that. Like, why not many? If we know that that's like the single-handedly the biggest needle mover of getting clients is how many conversations you're having, why are you doing that? And they're like, oh, because it's effort. I'm like, okay, well, you're putting your effort into this thing over here, and then to serving people, and then to scrolling on TikTok, whereas you could be putting in just an hour of doing DMs every day. And they go, oh yeah, but I don't want to. It's lazy. Sometimes the work is enjoyable and sometimes it's not. There's aspects of every single job that fucking suck. And sometimes social media posting is, for you, that might fucking suck, right? Sometimes DMing people on socials also might suck. But there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, because if you suck at social media and that's why you're lazy at it and that's why you don't post, you got to get good at it. Because I promise you, if you can get good at something, it becomes more enjoyable. And you see different sides like, oh, that's actually good. I didn't know I could do that. That was easier than I thought. And you get a bit of a like small win and momentum feeling that feels a bit like success. Like, when I started, do you think I liked making videos and like posting photos in the beginning on social media? Like, I hated it. It was like, it just wasn't my jam. I was terrible at it. But I could do it long enough to build the skill to go, oh, I could actually do something cool here. Let me do this. This is fun. Like, now when I shoot videos, I always have fun doing it because I'm trying something new. I'm trying to be creative. It's an enjoyable process because I'm better at it. Now, if you really don't like it and you think, okay, well, how good can I be at just having DM conversations? Like, I'm not going to like that no matter what. That's true. And a lot of coaches hate having DM conversations. But in order to palm that off and outsource it to someone else and to be able to train someone on doing the things you don't like to do, you have to do them. So all of the things in your business that you have to do, you do it until you can train someone, and then you can palm that off. But this no man's land that people like sit in, they're never going to get out of it, because like the coaches who are lazy, they will never do the DMs. So they'll never be able to teach someone to do the DMs. They'll never post enough to get good at it to be able to outsource and build a content team or anything like that, because they're not willing to do the things they don't want to do. So if you're sitting there going, okay, well, I don't know what I should do. I had a video previously on identifying your bottleneck and getting unstuck and finding the needle movers that might work. So that could be a good episode to check out as well, because once you can identify the things that you need to do, just put them in a basket of like, okay, I'm doing that enough or I'm not doing that enough. And that's it. And the coaches who do the output get the best results. It is literally that. Like, some of the coaches that I work with, the ones who just do more stuff, they get better results. And the ones who are overthinking and paralyzed by like this like crippling analysis paralysis, they never get anything done. And they're like, oh no, but I'm waiting for this to get right. Like, I'm waiting for that to get perfect, and then I'll do more. Just got to finish this ebook and then I'll spin it up into a lead magnet. It's like, stop overthinking, stop over-engineering and planning stuff, and just do more. Like, one of the first slides I have on a kickoff call when I welcome new members offers is literally a thing that just says do more. Like when in doubt, do more stuff. Turn up the volume, just do more output. And this is like, I think it could be a handy thing for every single person to remember is like when in doubt, there's probably like 20 million things you can do. So instead of just sitting back and trying to analyze them and order them, just do stuff. Just literally, if worst case scenario, just do stuff. Because the more you do, the more you'll learn and the more chance you'll have at getting any kind of tangible output back. So that's like the biggest thing ever is don't be lazy. Don't be lazy and just do more stuff. Crank up the volume. The next thing I wanted to talk about was being scared. And that's like this fear manifests itself in different ways for everyone, right? Like maybe you're scared of clowns, maybe you're scared of vegans. I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of the two. But I'm like, when I started, I was scared of a lot of shit. Like I still am. But I was really scared of putting myself out there on social media. I've spoken about that a lot. Can go through a little bit again now. May as well. Why not? But I was scared of that. I was scared of selling. And I was scared of putting my offer out in front of people. And I think these fears, sometimes you don't even know about them. They feel like they're just kind of under the surface. And it helps to know about them. It helps to actually go, okay, well, what am I really scared of right now? Because if you can figure that out, it's going to make your life way easier when it comes to actually solving that and getting over it. But most people don't even know what they're scared of. So it takes a conversation with me when I'm having to ask them like, hey, why don't you just post? And they're like, oh, I'm kind of scared about, don't want, and after they get to the point, they come up with bullshit excuses first of like, oh no, I just want to keep this separate and then do that. And I'm like, no. What are you scared of? They're like, I'm scared this guy's going to say it. I'm like, cool. Well, let's think about that. And once we get to like the juicy bit of, these people are scared of posting because they feel like they're scared that their coach is going to see it, right? That's usually what it might come down to. It's like, oh, I don't want my coach to see my content of me helping people in fitness. And I'm like, okay, cool. So let's actually pretend that you could make 10 grand a month next month in addition to what you're making right now if you do what I say. They're like, yep, cool, got it. I'm like, awesome. Imagine how that feels. This is what it looks like. Yep, cool. All right. Now, do you really think that your coach is going to give a shit? And they're like, oh, maybe not. I'm like, all right, well, let's put it another way. Do you want your coach to stop you from making 10 grand? Because when you see him, put 10 grand on his face. Like literally see him and visualize him just going, hey, I'll take that. Takes you 10 grand. Thanks, buddy. Cheers. Is that fair? They're like, fuck no. Like, no way. I wouldn't do that. It's like, exactly. So imagine the severity of the situation. Like that's the reality is you should see 10K on that person's head every single time that they see you, right? You should see that because otherwise you're not acknowledging the reality of the situation. You're pretending like, it's something else, so it's a bit of a fear, but you should see it for what it is. There's a huge potential that you can make by following your gut and doing stuff and aiming high and trying to hit your dream, right? Imagine the potential of your dream. It's enormous. If I think back to the potential of my dream when I was, 8-10 years ago starting this stuff, I didn't even realize how big it could get. I didn't know the life I could build. Thank God I didn't give in to this fear of judgment because I would never have, I don't know where I'd be right now. Who knows? Could be dead in a ditch. Who knows? But I never would have realized what I could make with my life. I had these little demons at the time. I remember thinking, I don't want him to see. I don't want him to see. But for whatever reason, I was like, fuck him. And I did the thing anyway. I'm lucky. I don't know what that was, but I managed to kind of push through it. And I got enough earlier wins to keep me pumped up. But this is for the people who don't have enough of those early wins, right? Because it's easy. In hindsight, it's easy to make that decision and go, oh yeah, I wouldn't care what people thought if I made $1 million either, right? I get that. That's so fair. But the only way to win is to visualize it happening and pretend like you've already won. So if you're feeling that fear of judgment, I ask you to do this. Imagine you've already won. Imagine there is no way you can fail. It's just happening. It's just a matter of time. Maybe you got to give it a certain amount of time. You wouldn't care then. But it's this uncertainty of, what if I try and I don't make it, right? And I get that. But that's not how you think. That's not how you can think. You have to think in the way that it is already done. You've already won. It's already going to happen. It's just a matter of when. That should help you reframe those doubts and that overthinking, right? Because remember, like, fuck that person, whoever it is. There's probably one or a few people. Doesn't matter. If they don't support you, they don't deserve your attention. And if they don't care, great. You shouldn't care either, right? So like, let's get over that fear of judgment. Let's leave that way back before you started this episode, please. The next fear is fear of selling. And this could be putting your offer out there. It could also be like selling on a call. So I will talk about putting your offer out there first because it's like the order of stuff. When we have a good service, it's our moral obligation to sell it. That's it. If you don't have a good service and you're selling it, you kind of suck, right? That's just pretty much, that's common sense. So let's just pretend that you have a great service. Say it's online coaching, personal training, whatever it is. You can get people results, you can change their lives, and they are better for it, right? Let's just acknowledge that. And if you don't, this is your time to go, okay, well, that's my priority. I got to do that. I got to get good at this. I got to fix that thing. But most people that I speak to, they do have a good service and they've done it before and they know that they can help people. So The problem is that they don't sell it and they don't put it in front of people's eyeballs. I don't want to feel salesy, yada, yada. Let's actually think about what's going on. You have a service that can change people's lives for the better, and you're keeping it to yourself. You're not using it. You're not changing those people's lives. I noticed that it's disgusting. It is fucking repulsive what you're doing. Go diet. No, it's your moral obligation to help those people. So let's actually imagine you're sitting opposed someone who is like 30 kilos overweight, right? They're probably gonna die earlier than they need to. And let's say you know that. You can see that they're gonna have a shorter life, a worse quality of life. And if you can just get them over the line to be able to help them, they're gonna live 20 years longer and have a happier life for it. Imagine what you do then. Imagine how you would convince them, how much passion you would try to get your offer in front of their face, just to tell them what you do even, right? That's different than how you would post about it on your social media. It's very different. And I don't think they should be identical, but I think the disparity shouldn't be that big, because if you have something great to sell, you need to get it in front of people. You have to talk about it. Don't be humble. Like if you're in Australia right now, there's this thing like tall poppy syndrome, which is just like if anybody's doing well, people want to like bring them down, and it's absolutely so shit, but it's kind of the way it is sometimes. So don't play into that. Like if you have something that you know is worthwhile, you have to talk about it like it's the best thing ever, because you have to cut through the noise and you have to show people that you are passionate about what you do, and you have to at least get through people's heads, maybe I should work with this person. Like in my business, for example, helping online coaches and personal trainers, I see people struggle badly. There are people who cannot pay their expenses right now, and they are trying and they're doing all of the wrong things. And I know that I could help them, right? And they can't afford it. So they get a loan. I would feel terrible if I didn't have a good service. I'd be like, oh, don't do that. But because I have a good service, I'm like, no. This is for the right person. You should do this. You should get that loan, right? Because I know what's going to happen in a couple months' time. It's going to be the best thing you ever did. And that's what happens. And so I am so happy to push my product. If I see online coaches and PTs who are struggling and they need help with developing their skills, their content, their sales skills, I'm actually leaving them worse off if I don't talk about my shit. If I don't say, this is how good my product is, I'm leaving them way worse off. And I'm fully confident with that. Now, obviously for the wrong person, it's not the best product. It's terrible if it's for the wrong person, but for the right person, it's a game changer and it will change lives, and it does. Now you can hear my conviction. I'm not like glossing over that. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm saying what I do, I believe is the best fucking thing ever for online personal trainers and coaches, for the right ones who need the help. Now, you need to be the same about your service. You need to be the exact same about how much your service can help people, the right person. So if it is the right person, you need to speak to them. Speak to them on your stories. Jump on your stories like at least once a week and talk about how much your stuff can help people. Talk about how much you enjoy doing what you do. Talk about the passion behind why it's better, why it's good. Like, who have you helped? Tell me about them. And that's the level of selling that we need to do on our social media, is to really just go ham. Right now, the next thing is the one-to-one personal selling. This is getting in front of someone, having a sales conversation, which a sales conversation is literally helping people, but through a different means, because most people have fear. And it's kind of like allowing them to overcome that and see the other side of it, and allowing them to realize that this is important, because the person on the other end, your prospect, also has fear. They are worried it's not going to work. They're worried that they don't have what it takes. They're worried they don't have the money. There's all these different things. So it's your job to help them come to a decision that is mutually beneficial, right? Sometimes it's not for everyone. You can't just sell every single person you get in a call with, because that's immoral and doesn't make sense. There are people who are like, you know what, this isn't really for you. Or there are people who are like, yep, this is like exactly what you need. Let's talk about how logistically we can get there. So most people I speak to are scared of selling. They sell in the DMs because it's easier for them to go, oh, hey, it's $80 a week. Let me know what you think. We can get started. I'll send a link. It's easier to do that than it is to sit across someone, even on Zoom, and say like, that's a price. It's $2,000. What would you like to do? And then they say, no, they can't afford it. And then the person goes, yeah. And they don't know what to say. So like that, selling is difficult. No, if you're not like naturally gifted in that department, like I never was, like it's actually quite hard. So that's why you got to work on it. You got to build those skills and not be lazy. Build your skills on learning how to sell people. That's what we do in the blueprint a lot. There's a lot of sales training because stuff's hard. But when done correctly, and if you can have the skill of learning how to sell, it's transferring value. That's all it is. It's understanding your service and how you can help someone, and then understanding their needs and then matching it up. That's all it is. And sometimes it's just being able to have a little bit of an awkward conversation sometimes, because some money is awkward with people. It's just the way it is. And I promise you get over that very, very quickly, and you don't care anymore. And you're like, oh, this is awesome. Why didn't I do this sooner? So the people who, like, just to wrap this up, The people who are lazy and are not willing to do what it takes or identify what it takes, the people who are going to give in to that fear of judgment of what people are going to think about them. And so they're not going to post, they're not going to talk about their stuff. They're just going to stay in their own shell. The people who are too scared to talk about their offer or too scared to have a sales conversation, they're the kinds of people who are not going to do well in online coaching. They're the kinds of people who will fail unless they fix their shit. So if you are one of those, hey, that's fine, because like I was all of those, right? But the difference was I worked on it and I aimed to fix it, and I did fix it. So there's still time for you now to work on these things that need to be worked on, because I promise you, if you can nail those things, you'll crush it. It's not a matter of like if, it's a matter of like when. Like you literally will smash it, because it's a series of skills that just work. So I hope that helps. I hope that rambling was somewhat logical and flowed and made sense. So if it did, make sure you show some love below. If you want to take the next step working with us, then there's some kind of call to action link below, I'm guessing. I forget. But I'd love it if you could, just share this or give some feedback or anything like that would be awesome. And yeah, I'll end it here. Love you guys. Catch ya.